There we go.
Okay, I'm gonna go run and hide now.
Is that how we start these shows?
Yeah.
Hey everyone, Dave here yet again, better known as Sonic or Sonic Orb Studios, and we're here with the Muddled Muppet here this week for another Social Blade Live. Thank you for coming on, Muddled.
Thanks for having me, Dave. Really appreciate it. Hi, everyone.
So, if you guys haven't already done so, there's this great thing in the chat room. If you're watching us, you're probably there in the chat room. I'm going to also, because so many things have broken while setting this up that I forgot to do a few things, like maybe put us on the homepage of Social Blade. Let's just do that right now, shall we?
Yeah.
But while I'm doing that, you guys can jump into the chat room at the YouTube page here and join us in conversation. We're going to put this on the homepage and autoplay and all that jazz, and there we go. So here are some of the topics that we're going to be covering today. You can see them all in the description below, in the About section. We're going to be talking about... That didn't expand the way I wanted it. Let's just copy that and put it in a Word document. Why not? Word documents all over the place.
I'm just kind of sitting here revealing my own ignorance because I don't know what you're actually doing.
Nor do I, apparently. All right, so... So some of the topics we're going to be covering here today are how having a YouTube channel can help with things like clinical depression and anxiety. We can comment on how a great comment can really change your day, because we love great feedback, right? We're going to talk about how YouTube is a two-way conversation. We really like that. Because a lot of people tend to make it a one-way conversation. It's just, I'm going to upload my videos and that'll be that. But if you want to build a community, it's got to be a two-way. We're going to go over milestones such as views and subs, and we're going to talk about what is important, and we're going to ask you why. We talk about subliminal messaging and how to sort of make your audience maybe think something's going to happen, or maybe predict what they're going to do, or change their actions with a few simple words that you can slip into your conversation. And then we can go into broadening your channel with... different sort of topics. We can talk about money, if it's of a good focus to be good or bad on that, and all that jazz. But anyway, I got people messaging me on the side too. I am so all over the place. This is gonna be a great show.
It's like, this is my added value to the show, is to sort of cause chaos. It's just, it comes hand in hand with having me here.
It's just true. Anyway, so let's get started. Let's talk about how a YouTube channel can help with things like clinical depression and anxiety. Where do you want to start on that topic?
Okay, it's jumping in at the deep end. But basically, where it stands is that I do have clinical depression, and along with that do come anxiety problems with dealing with people. And so it can almost seem like a bit of a weird thing to do if you have those sort of issues, to sort of put yourself in front of this massive audience, you know. Just to give it some kind of context, there are times when I find it difficult to go out and interact with people, like going to the shops or something. And you know, since it hit me, I've changed from being a sort of very outward going, say hi to anyone, speak to anyone kind of guy, into somebody who kind of resides in a shell quite a lot. Now I think it's important to be open about it and share that experience with other people, because I think there is still a bit of a taboo over mental health. You know, like even though nobody expects to get through life without having something go wrong with their body, most of us kind of still think that we're going to get through life without having something go with the most complex part of us, which is our brain. Now, I guess when it comes to YouTube. Oh, can I just bring another guest on? Just my dog's jumping up. Come on. Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
And we should probably step back, because Joey in the chat room just asked, what is clinical depression? It's probably a good thing to define starting out here.
Yes. It's a good thing to describe. Without going into mass loads of detail, basically depression is that feeling of when things are going wrong and you're a bit blue. But it's like that magnified to a scale where it starts to interfere with what you would normally do in life. So it's quite normal that everyone has ups and downs in life. Everyone does have good days and bad days, but it kind of bleeds over into depression if that is affecting you. So, you might find that for a young kid, they can't complete their homework because they just have this cloud hanging over them. For an adult, it might be that they can't complete a project, or it might affect how you have your relations with friends and family, or a partner.
Yeah.
And there are different types of depression. You can have what is called reactive depression, which is pretty much what it says on the tin. So reactive depression is... Oh,
It's
hold on.
that.
Hold on, I'm getting a load of... Dave, I'm hearing the channel feed now.
Yeah, probably because you have the window open somewhere.
Because I have a window open.
Well, not an actual physical window, but you've probably got
I
the
hang
YouTube
on, I
page
don't...
open somewhere. I have it open, but I've muted it.
Yes, you were absolutely right. That was me. I did have the social play window open and didn't notice it. I do apologize for that. Anyway, I'm going to try and make this really short. There are different types of depression, but basically, clinical depression is where the depression is significantly affecting your day-to-day activities. So it's a bit more than just feeling a bit down or upset about something. It's where it affects what you do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And the reason that I say that YouTube, or the changing world of online media and stuff, can be good for this is it puts one barrier there, but it's not a barrier that prevents friendships or anything, but it is a barrier that allows you to retain in control, to manage the relationships that you have with people, and to form new relationships. It's a normal thing in life. As you go through life, you meet new people, and you forge friendships with them. And if somebody does have a depression to the point where they find that really difficult, being able to do it in a controlled manner through something like YouTube, allows you to stay in control of that, and it's an easier way of handling stuff. And overwhelmingly, I mean, we all know that trolls exist on YouTube and platforms like that, but overwhelmingly, the people that you'll come across on YouTube are massively supportive. And I would say to anyone that if you're thinking perhaps of doing a YouTube channel, but one of the things that's putting you off is how people will be with you, is you'll be amazed at how supportive and friendly that big world is out there. It's not the hateful experience that a lot of people seem to think that it is.
Yeah, I fully agree. There's a lot of great people out there. I mean, I've done my fair share of dealing with trolls while managing the Social Blade page here, because it has a huge audience. But on top of that, I've also started a brand new channel a few months ago. I mean, it's like 3 or 4 months old, and the people that have been following me since day one or even recently, they're fantastic. I mean, they give you creative criticism when something goes wrong, but they also give you that great commentary like, oh, you did a fantastic job. I want to go and try this or that. And I just really love that you've done this video for us. So
Yeah.
I love feedback like that. And I think everyone feels the same. It's like you get a great comment and it just brightens your day. So guys, when you're considering leaving a comment, think about how it affects the people out there. Definitely, you want to post something that's going to be uplifting and help them out and the content creators out.
I don't think people really have an idea of how much effect sometimes their positive comments can have. Even something just saying, I enjoyed that video. That is so positive to receive as a content creator. And when somebody goes a little bit more than that, it can set you up for the entire day. Just so if you guys there are one of the people who leaves some positivity, it's like throwing a stone out into a pond. It doesn't just end when it hits the pond. We get all these sort of ripples coming out, and the effects of what you do are spread out. You set somebody up for their day, so then they go and watch another video, and they're going to be more inclined to maybe leave a positive comment and stuff.
So we're going to change subjects here.
Yeah.
blocking trolls. We talk about trolls now. We get trolled. Great.
Yeah, was that what we're getting trolls, are we?
Yeah, I had a few. I had to clear out the chat there,
All
but I'm on
right,
top
hi
of it.
trolls.
Hi, trolls. So we
I
went
mean,
over.
sorry, I just want to wrap something up. It's when somebody does something creative, and it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's like a piece of art, whether it's a piece of music, whatever it is, there are going to be sort of two kinds of people, and some people might be a bit critical, but at least acknowledge the effort that went into creating that piece of work. But there is another kind of person, and I guess they are kind of the afterbirth of the artist. They're the piece of detritus that is left lying around that nobody really wants and we're going to throw in the trash. So trolls often think that they're making a huge difference. Well, sorry guys, if you are a troll, you make no difference at all.
In fact,
You really don't.
the way I look at trolls is they only make themselves look bad. I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't. It's not like, yeah, you might be pissing off the person that you're trolling if you're the troll, but in reality, the other way around, you look like a complete idiot.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
it's
mean,
not helping you.
with the way that we engage with people online, I often think about how would that transcribe into a normal social situation. And if you were at a gathering, I mean, it's probably trolls don't get invited to parties. I don't know, but if they were at a party and everyone's having a good time, and somebody's just being an absolute dick in the corner, you know, shouting at somebody or trying to upset somebody, guess what? Nobody's impressed. Nobody likes you.
It's true. Very true.
We're far more, you know, who would you rather spend your time with? You want to spend the time with the people who are actually positive, with the people who've got something interesting to say. And trolls, you just don't cut it, guys. Go and get a different living.
Definitely. So I'm going to run down some of the chat comments that have come here while we were talking. Let's see. So somebody told me that they wanted to talk about Freedom Network. I'm like, that's not on our agenda today.
No.
But yeah, I am optimistic. I am optimistic says, yes, YouTube does help everyone with depression. So he's on a roll with that. Andrew says, I like Mike's dog. He's cute.
Yeah, well, make sure you watch my videos. I don't know if you do watch my videos, but my dog does cut himself into them loads of times. I'll be trying to do something, and sometimes a serious subject, and the next thing the dog's just leaping up at me, wanting to get upset on me. But I absolutely love my dog, and without going into the depression thing yet again, if you do have depression, get a pet, because the unconditional love that they give you is just fantastic.
Yeah. Mr. Vlogger Frog says, I saw you at Comic-Con.
Who?
I don't know, because I wasn't at Comic-Con.
I wasn't at Comic-Con.
Well, Mr. Vlogger Frog, you're wrong then. I don't know who you saw, but we were not at Vlogger Fair or Comic-Con. Well, we were at Vlogger Fair.
Maybe I was there and forgot it.
That is possible too. No, Social Blade was at my mind went blank. I don't know. We were at a lot of events. We were at VidCon. We were at VidCon for 2 years. We went to Playlist Live last year. We will be at Vlogger Fair this year. It's in about, I want to say, a week and a half. So if you guys haven't bought tickets, go get your tickets. Social Blade will be there. We're not going to be running a booth or anything, but yeah.
Would Social Blade sponsor my travel across there, Dave?
No.
I'd wear a t-shirt and everything. I'd do the whole bit. I'd wear a wet t-shirt.
We love free promotion. Mr. Vlogger Frog also said that you need thick skin when it comes to YouTube. It definitely helps there. But I think in general, people need to be a bit more considerate and just think how their actions are going to affect.
I think, without spending too much time on this subject, I don't think there's any sense in trying to appeal to that kind of person to be nicer, because they're not going to. But I don't so much need a thick skin. You just need to recognize what they're doing and where it's coming from. They're dealing with some horrible frustrations in their own lives, and we just sometimes happen to be in the firing line. It doesn't make any difference to them who they're spreading their toxicity at. as long as they manage to try and spoil somebody's day. It doesn't really matter. You could be anyone.
Yeah. And trolls usually get blocked by YouTubers. It's true. You can just block people. So
Oh, I don't block them on my channel.
it's easy to, and I think a lot of people do. So it's like even if they are trying to troll, it's easy to block someone these
Hey,
days. So
if as far as I'm concerned, if some trolls come in and leaving a dozen comments on one of my videos, well, then it just pushes it up YouTube's search algorithms because it looks to them like it's a video that everyone's talking about.
yes
So
and no. There's actually a video I'm going to be
is that
producing. If you guys haven't seen our blog at socialblade.com/blog, the most important thing to rank your videos is not comments, not views, not likes to dislikes to
watch
subscribers.
time?
It's actually watch time.
Yeah,
So we're going to be doing a video on that. I'm going to have a YouTube Social Blade tip on that. Be a Social
yeah.
Blade tip maybe this Monday if I can get to it. I'm going to try to produce something fast on that. But the blog has an outline on that, so you guys can check that out. So let's move on to topics since we're already halfway through the show. We love to chat. We love you guys. If you guys have any comments, keep them coming. I know there's plenty rolling in here. Let's try to prioritize on some things. We talk about some of the topics we have is YouTube is a two-way conversation. We could talk about milestones, what is important to look at. What about subliminal messages, broadening your channel, money as a focus, is that good or bad? And what do you enjoy both on and offline of YouTube? So any of those topics that jump out, Mike?
Well, the last one because it's the most recent in my memory. What do I enjoy on and off YouTube? Well, off YouTube, I enjoy cooking. I enjoy my guitar playing and my dog. I can just enjoy the company of my dog and gaming and reading. I do a lot of reading and just watching stuff. I haven't been as physically active as I used to be, but I was telling Dave that next week I'm going camping in Northern Ireland, which I'm like really looking forward to, but kind of a little bit terrified of because it's been so long since I tested myself physically, and these are some sort of decent sized mountains that we're going up, and I'm 52. I'm no spring chicken, so it
Oh,
might
you'll
be a
be
bit.
fine.
If nobody sees me after this, that's where I am, still struggling somewhere up. It's in Game of Thrones country. If anybody watches Game of Thrones, a lot of those scenes were shot in the Mountains of Mourne, which is where I'm going.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Other stuff that, yeah, you mentioned about subliminal messages, and this is a little tip, I guess. And I don't, when I say this a little tip, I'm more throwing this out for you as something to think about. Subliminal messaging is where we deliberately use words to try and guide the listener towards an objective that we have. And so an example that I use for this is if I say, right, I'm doing a gameplay video for Assassin's Creed or whatever, and I say, right, guys, I found something really cool, and I'd like to share that with you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the theory runs that by including the words like and share quite soon in my conversation, that people will be more inclined to put a like and a share. Now, whether or not this works, I have no idea. I'm not sort of claiming that if you do it, you will suddenly become famous overnight. I certainly haven't. I have used it a few times. I don't use it all the time because I'm not that manipulative, I guess. But it's something I have used, and I have sort of thought sometimes whether it's worth expanding that, whether there's some kind of greater degree that can be expanded into.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
interesting subject and topic in general. To me, it sounds like work. I would have to think of what I'm going to say before I say it, which is not what I generally do. So
Yeah, I don't think it would be sort of a huge amount of work. I guess if you, when you're doing a video, you have a particular objective in mind, and so it might be comments or it might be a discussion or whatever. If you can get that keyword in there verbally to your audience, but not in a direct, hey guys, I'd like to start this discussion. But if you can kind of get it in there, but in a less obvious way, apparently it can still be really effective.
yeah, audible shout outs to and I just got certified recently for YouTube, so I'm YouTube certified. And one thing they covered was a lot of people tend to just put up annotations and they link to playlist, which gives you better watch time, which ranks you up higher, as I mentioned earlier. But most people don't really have an audible alert to those playlists. So on my food channel recently, I've been doing this. I'm saying, hey, at the end of the video, I'll have the 3 playlist buttons, and I'm like, hey, if you enjoy this content, check out this playlist here. You can check out more Wendy's food reviews, or maybe this next one for McDonald's food reviews. So if you're also sort of saying people what this button goes to and you're mentioning it, they're more likely to click something like that. So definitely talk about what you have on screen and sort of push it in multiple different formats, if you will.
Yeah, yeah. I think that the idea behind the subliminal stuff is to more make it more subtle and low key. And if somebody does have that analytical mind, it would be interesting for somebody to do some research on this, because we do live in the age of the hard sell, and there is a part of us that doesn't like it when somebody says, go and click on this, go and do that, go and do the other. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
We're becoming immune to that sort of thing. I just think I'm not saying don't ever do what you're saying now, Dave. Don't ever say to somebody, go and click on this or go and watch that video. I'm just saying, it's another avenue to try.
It's definitely true, yeah. So I want to know if you guys have done something like this in the comments. Leave us a comment. We love hearing your feedback and understanding how you run your channel, and we hope that maybe these tips sort of give you some advice and help your channel if you want to try changing things up. But until then, we have a 30-second delay on chat. It's kind of annoying.
Right. Okay. Trying to think what other issues there were about. The two-way dialogue thing.
We could do two-way communication, then move to milestones and what to focus on when it comes to YouTube. But let's talk about two-way communication, aka this right here.
Yeah. I mean, I really appreciate the opportunity for doing this because it's just so interesting. It's far more interesting than just me looking at my monitor screen and doing a monologue. There's one of my friends called Janza. Mm-hmm. We just did a video on his channel. Like we spoke for about an hour, broke it up into a few chunks. We put some on his channel and some on my channel, and it's just really good fun. And like it's something that I try and encourage on my channel is people to come on and talk about their channel or talk about what gets them excited. Talk about different stuff and really involve people. And not have it. I mean, I told you before, Dave, that I had this comment recently where somebody had said that they really felt that I was more of a friend to them than any other YouTuber, and they spend a lot of time on YouTube. And that was such a really nice comment to get back because he obviously felt that this wasn't just me putting gameplay videos on YouTube and saying, "Hey guys, look how awesome I am." I am awesome, by the way, guys. But he appreciated the fact that I answer every single comment. I guess I'm still at a stage where I can do that, but I answer every comment in a meaningful manner. I don't just say thanks for the comment. I actually engage in the discussions, and I love that. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, it's a step further than what I do. I generally if somebody leaves a comment, I'll always try to comment back on all of my channels that I manage here. And it definitely gets out of hand when you have thousands and thousands of people commenting every day. Thank God we're not at that point right now. Well, yeah. Well, maybe.
But that's probably what you're aiming for. I mean, I years ago I used to play a load of a game called Little Big Planet, and I had sort of a reasonable degree of success on there. I made some movies on there, and they were developer picks, and they were getting like 40 and 50,000 plays on them, and it got to a point when I logged onto my PlayStation, there would be my message box would actually be full, and I would have to delete it, and it would take me half an hour to delete the message box before I could play anything.
Yeah.
And I can imagine that for the bigger channels where they're getting thousands of comments a day, it's going to be impossible to answer them all. It just is. And kind of like one part of me can't wait until I get to that point of having that as a problem, but it will kind of be a bit disappointing not to be able to read and answer every single comment as well. That's assuming that I get to that sort of channel growth.
True. A lot of people are. So we finally rolled out a few more comments. Jackhammer MC says, "I barely use annotations and links in my own videos. Should I do that or not? Is it good or bad? What do Dave and Mike think? And what do you guys in the chat think of this?" Well, we pretty much covered it. I think it's great to have annotations linking to playlists so you get better play time and watch time because that audience retention goes up, and that's what really matters when you want to rank up higher.
Can
Going
I?
down a few, sure.
There's a couple of things for that question. Jackhammer, brilliant name by the way, um, is have a look on your YouTube analytics and see how much of your sources are mobile, because mobiles won't even see the analytics, and that's
Very
something to
good
bear
point.
to see the annotations rather. So bear that in mind. If you're putting some information on there, some viewers won't see it at all. So you might need to make sure that it's in a different location as well, represented on the screen, if it's some information that you want to get across. And like I found this out once when I had some very successful videos that were getting 100,000 views for Assassin's Creed tips, and some of the information that people needed were in annotations. And I didn't realize this at the time, but people who were watching those on a mobile device didn't see the annotations and thus lost that information. And I think there's also somewhere in your analytics you can see how much activity those links give you, that how many
Yeah.
times they've been clicked. And personally, I'd say that if you're getting zero return from them, think about other ways of using your time.
Yeah. There's so much when it comes to analytics. I mean, the click-through rate of specific annotations per video. One thing that does go on the mobile device that cannot be accessed on there. So you can't do an annotation on a mobile, but you can use a subscribe button on the video, and that goes through the mobile through the in-video programming. So if you guys
Yes.
have in-video programming, that is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Doesn't everyone have in video programming now?
They should
Like,
have it now, yes.
yeah.
But it's definitely something to consider enabling. Anyway, let's move on to what is probably going to be our final subject here, because we got about 5 minutes left, and that is going to be where is it? I lost it. Milestones, views, subscribers, stats. What is important to sort of focus on and why? And then for everyone who is in the chat right now, what do you guys focus on, or what do you think should be focused on? So, Mike, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I just passed a big milestone of 5,000 subscribers, and
Congrats.
thank you. And what I'd say is, we've only got a few minutes left, so I'm not going to go into it. But at the risk of pushing myself, there is a video on my channel about 5,000 subscribers, and I talk about 15 minutes about what that actually meant to me. For me personally, the biggest metric that I look for more than anything else is comments, because that shows me that I'm actually reaching out and touching people's minds. Everyone, I like likes, I like subscriptions, I like views, but the biggest thing for me is comments.
I fully agree. I love the comments because that's where I feel the community is linked to.
Exactly.
I have
yeah.
a channel with over 8,000 subscribers on Sonic Orb Studios. Hardly a lot of views, so it was a tutorial and review based channel, so people would tend to watch and subscribe, but they're never really commenting actively because it's a more one-way communication when you do tutorials. Whereas my food channel, the fast food review, I constantly put up a video, I get a lot of feedback back, and I have conversations in the comments. And it takes a lot of actual, I want to say, it takes a lot of work for people to comment because they have to sort of think about it and they got to type it out. Whereas most people are probably just going to like the video and then move on to the next thing to watch. But those that you get to stick around and comment and have a conversation with, that's like gaining a new friend online. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Completely agree. They're worth the weight in gold. And I do say this every so often on my channel, but I'd like to say it here as well. Even if you're not commenting on my channel, but if you're the kind of person who takes that bit of time to put comments on people's videos, thanks. Really appreciate it.
And it definitely helps you because it gets your name out there. People read it. At least the channel owner is going to read it. And then other people may find it in the comment section below. So you're getting your name out there. You're going to maybe get a subscriber in return if you're commenting on similar subjects that you normally produce yourself. Fantastic stuff. Kestel Caden, I can't say it. It's
That's
Kestel
easy for
Caden.
you to say.
The Manacle Gamer. Kestel is our web guy. He makes Socialblade look the way it does. He's answering Hellsmax, which, Hellsmax said, I have a question on if you were to like spam tags in the description, is it possible to get banned? And Kestel says, yeah, YouTube is banning people for adding spam tags and everything in the description. You want to keep tags out of there.
Yeah, I'll be upfront and honest about this. I've done it before in the past. I didn't know that it was against terms and conditions.
YouTube actually suggested people do it in the past, and then they changed their ways, and now they're starting to ban accounts for it. So it's an
Yeah.
interesting subject.
So I don't know if they will ban you sort of retrospectively, if you've got a video that's a year old and you've done it.
Yeah,
But my strong advice would be don't do it. Don't.
I agree. And it's not really something that's going to help you with the algorithm these days. So it's not worth putting the
I
extra
mean,
tags in there.
YouTube they're getting more clever like all the time, and if you can guarantee that if you can think of a good way to try and cheat the system, that somebody at YouTube has already thought of that and already thought of a way around it.
Yeah, don't cheat the YouTube Google. The Google staff will hate you forever, and
Yeah.
then they might send you, I don't know, coal for Christmas. Who knows? Anyway, that's going to wrap up another show. If you guys want to be on this show, go to the description below. We've got a link where you can apply, fill out a simple little form, and sort of put in some information of what you would want to bring to the show and what you do on YouTube. We'd love to meet you here on the show. And I think in the future, we're going to probably get a few people back on the show and sort of do this collaborative 5-person camera spot and just chat with each other for maybe half an hour. But thank you, Mike, for coming back on the show. If you guys haven't done so,
Thank you.
there will be a link in the description. I have to add it to his channel, MuddledMuppet.
That's the one.
Muppet. I'm putting it in.
Have I got time just to say a couple of thanks?
Sure.
Right. So thanks to the guys for watching. I'll thank you in advance if you do go and drop by my channel. If you do, just go by and say hi and see if it's got the kind of content you'd like to watch. Love to meet you. Thanks to you, Dave, for watching me, and thanks to Social Blade as a company. People often complain about the networks, and I'd just like to kind of get it out there that I've had Social Blade help me out a few times, and I appreciate what you guys do.
No problem. Check out Mike's channel. There, I have added it to the description. Yeah, Social Blade is always about helping the community. We do have the partner program, but if you guys aren't interested in joining a network, I mean, that's certainly not something that you have to do. There's plenty of networks out there, but RPM, or now commonly known as MakerGen, that's something that people may or may not want to join. But Social Blade, everybody can be a community member of. We've got things like the chat room, the forums, where you can get live interaction and some tips and tricks and sort of get your name out there and collaborate through those. We got the blog where you guys can always stay up to date with the information that's going on, always something happening there. And of course the stats for things like your YouTube channel, of course, where you are right here. You got things like you can check out Instagram and twitch.tv stats. If you guys haven't done that already, check that out as well. It's really fantastic and helpful. But until next time, guys, we are out of here. Next week, I am not sure who we are talking to. I don't think that far in advance, but we'll find out sooner or later, right? So keep on top of our Twitter feed and other social media sources, and we will keep you up to date through that, guys. I'm Dave, aka Sonic. Mike, MuddledMuppet, thank you again for being on the show.
Thanks again. Bye.
See you guys next week.
Ciao.